first grade. We're going to be doing science together today, and this is the lesson that you're going to be needing. We're in lesson 12 already. Oh my goodness. So this is what the beginning of that packet looks like. And if you would go ahead and put your name at the top, we're going to be learning about lungs and air in this chapter. It's really great. So right here we have a boy, and you can color a picture of him later. And he has a little item in his hand, and he's going to be blowing right down here. You can see actually what is happening. He has dipped his little dipper into some solution of soap water. He's blowing on it, and the result is bubbles are coming out. So up here you can finish coloring him in, and you can draw your own bubbles after we're done. Now, have you ever thought about why there are bubbles coming out from that solution? And the bubbles pop. They don't stay. What do you think is in the middle of that bubble? Well, if he's holding up that little dipper to his mouth and he's going, what is going into the middle of that bubble? Air. Air. You're exhaling air out from your lungs. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So that's just an example of how that works. So let's go ahead and start on the first page together. And this is breathing. This word up here is breathing. Our highlighted word in yellow is air. We talked a little bit about this a while back. Air is a gas that has oxygen in it. People use their lungs to breathe air. So air is very necessary for our breathing process. Right here, the word that is highlighted is the word lung. A lung is a part of the body that takes in and lets out air. Inhaling, exhaling, in and out, in and out. It's kind of like when we were talking last week about our heart that pumps and beats. It just does it. Do we really have to stop and think, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out? No, it's just an automatic function of our body, the way God created it. So we don't even have to think about it. Right here, you can see this boy, and there's a diagram. You have two lungs, one on each side of your body. There's an air passageway, and the air goes into your lungs. And when you breathe out, so your lungs fill, they expand, they fill with air, they go down, it decreases as you exhale. They go. It's kind of like something I'll show you in a minute. So do we always breathe at the same rate? Not at all. So we're going to do a little experiment. I'm going to get my phone and I'm going to use it as a stopwatch. So what we're going to do, we're going to count our breaths that happen in 1 minute. So the first thing we want to do is have you sitting comfortably. You're not going to be moving around, but just sitting comfortably. Next, you're going to take your two fingers, and remember we were talking about if you put your fingers on your wrist and press gently, not super hard, you can feel your pulse. So I'll give you a minute. Find that perfect spot. Mine's right here. And you can feel that pumping, pumping, pumping. Yeah, that pulse. So what you're going to do, you're going to stay seated for 1 minute. When I say start, you're going to have your fingers already in place where your pulse is. And when I say start, you're going to start counting how many times your heart beats in 1 minute when you're sitting still. Okay? So there's kind of an average. So we'll talk about that at the end. So get ready. Be sitting. Get your two fingers where you can feel your pulse. And let me get to my stopwatch on my phone here. And I am going to, in just a moment, I am going to be telling you when to begin. So let me set this. We want a 1 minute timer. Are you ready? Begin. Stop. Stop. Well, my timer doesn't want to stop for some reason, but you need to stop. Remember your number in your head that you had counted to when you were sitting still. So what you're going to do, I'm going to have you record the number. So when you're sitting still, your breaths will probably be somewhere, just roughly, about 17 to 19 beats per minute. So that's when you're sitting still, okay? Now, we are going to compare and see what happens to our heart rate if we're exercising and we're active. So for this to happen, I am going to set a timer again, and this time, and you're very used to doing this because we do this as a stretch break once in a while, you are going to run in place. Remembering running in place? My phone just really wants me to, once the timer wants to keep going. Don't interrupt me. Oh my goodness, we'll have to get ready. So when I say ready, begin, you are going to run in place, okay? 1 minute. Did you think when you were counting your heart rate when you were sitting, did that minute seem kind of like a long time? I was just standing here watching the clock and the seconds tick by. Yeah, it was 1 minute. So I'm going to have you run in place for 1 minute. I will start you and I will stop you. I'm going to use my timer again. Once we have done that, I'm going to tell you what's going to be the next step. So we'll be able to begin and move right on to the next part. After you have run in place, when I say stop, I want you to get your wrist ready, put your fingers back on where you felt your pulse previously, and when I say start, you are going to start counting your heart rate. Every time you feel that pulse, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you feel, okay? So I will start you in a moment to get ready to run. You don't have to count while you're running. All you have to concentrate is keep going. Even though it's a minute and you're like, I'm getting so tired. Just keep going, okay? And even if you slow down a little bit in your running pace, that is totally fine. All right, we'll see if I can get my, here we go, stopwatch is ready. So are you ready to start running? Okay, and in place. Ready? Begin. I'll run with you, okay? So you just keep moving and going. If you want to run a little faster, you can. I'm just going to go a nice, easy pace and keep going. I can feel my breath is changing, my breathing, beating harder. How about you? kind of feel yourself getting a little breathless if you want to try to talk. All right, we're more than halfway done. Just keep going. Getting kind of feeling that heart rate. Good, good exercise. Good for that heart muscle. Okay. You may stop, pause, stop. All right, this guy, he just likes to keep going for some reason today. I haven't used him very much lately. He's feeling left out. Okay, get ready. And what you're gonna do is get those 2 fingers placed on your pulse, ready, and you're gonna count your pulse. Ready, begin. Stop. Remember that number that is in your head. Okay? And you're going to write the number right in this line, the heart rate for running. So the average or the typical is usually somewhere between 30 to 68 beats per minute after you have exercised like that, just roughly. So yours number could be down to 30, or it could even be all the way up to 68, or one of those middle numbers in between. And that's just a rough idea of what kind of the average is for someone your age, okay? Now, why do you think it's good to get that heart rate increased, to not just sit all day and just, but to get out, get some exercise? Yeah. It keeps your heart muscle strong and healthy. Also, it does a lot for all the other muscles in your body. Yeah. I live kind of up where a lot of hills are. So I have been taking a lot of walks lately, and 3 and 4 miles, and I just get my heart going crazy when I'm going up those hills. I don't run, but I walk pretty fast, and it just feels so good. So exercise is always a good choice. Well, as we mentioned a couple minutes ago, people need air to stay alive. Yeah, you have to breathe to stay alive. Right here, we're going to circle the group that needs air. So right here, we have a pile of shoes. Okay? So, I wonder if shoes need air to stay alive. Well, what's our other choice? Our other choice are children. People. Do we need air to stay alive? Yes, we totally do. So, this would be the good choice to circle the group of people. Okay. Well, as you know, air we cannot see, but we can see what air does. So I brought something today. I brought a balloon, and it did look like this one a few minutes ago. And if you're wondering what this balloon says, it's actually a party balloon, and it says, surprise! So what do you think I had to do to change this balloon from looking like this? If you said I had to blow it up and put air into it, you are correct. So let me show you. I'll blow this up just a little bit. And what is going to start happening, you're going to see the effects of what the air is doing. Ready? So I blew it up just a little bit, and you can see how it already changed from me blowing. Now, I'm holding the air in it by pinching it shut. What is going to happen if what's coming out? My air, the air I put in there. And guess what? I put my hand in front of the opening. I could feel the air coming out. What do you think about a windy day outside? Can we see the air blowing? No. Can we possibly look at a tree and possibly see the branches moving? Can we look down in the street and if there's some fallen leaves, do we see the air? No. Can we see the effects of the air blowing those leaves down the street? Yeah, you can. So many times you can see it. So if you put your hands on yourself like this on your chest, you can feel how your body is expanding for the air, and then it goes back in and out, in and out. That's what the air is doing. Right here, we see what a little girl is doing with her breath and the effects it's having. We're going to circle the flower that the little girl is moving with her breath. So we have a little girl right here, and she's blowing on that. And what is happening? It's causing pieces of that fuzz from the flower to blow off of the stem. And then here we have just a picture of the flower itself. So what picture do you think we need to circle to show that the girl's breath, the air she's blowing, is making something happen? I think if we were to circle this one, that would be the correct answer. Okay. So sometimes we use our breath for different things. Have you ever gotten a bowl of soup, or maybe a cup of hot chocolate, or a plate of spaghetti, and all of a sudden you went to take a bite because I really want to taste my hot chocolate. I'm so freezing right now. But you put it up to your mouth and you can tell it's really very hot. Or you're so hungry you want to eat your bowl of soup, but it's way too hot. Well, is there something you can do? If you said blow on it, yes, with your breath, you can get that item to cool down a bit. So we're going to circle the soup that the boy is cooling with his breath. Right here we see the boy, and he's holding onto a mug that has soup in it, but he's just holding it. I don't really see anything happening right there. But over here, we see he's holding it, but in his other hand, he has picked up his spoon, and he's blowing on the spoon to cool the soup down. So, which picture do you think we would need to circle? I would say this one right here where he's blowing with his breath to cool it down. Okay? So down here, we need to circle the picture of the body part that helps us breathe. Would it be our hands and fingers? Think about that one. What about our ears? Do we use our ears to breathe? Or what about our set of lungs? We have 2 lungs. I think the correct picture to circle would be the lungs. That's what we need to have circled. That's what we need in our body that helps us breathe. So as you can see, once again, God has created our bodies perfectly, so it all works together perfectly. Well, that's all for science for today, but we'll continue studying more about breathing in our lungs next time. Have a good day.